So from our sketches made at the zoo, the following week we're going to be working with this dry point technique, drawing into a sheet of Perspex, inking up and making a print. I think my paper was a little bit too damp. There's a few elements to play with in printmaking, and the damp paper is required to really take the ink out of the etched lines in the Perspex sheet. But we'll explore that the following week. But I thought it would be helpful to you to see a demonstration of the technique, and that might influence the sorts of drawings you'll do at the zoo. I'll bring the usual materials, but perhaps some biros as well, because it's very much a linear graphic technique. So the dry point etching is made on a piece of Perspex. It's come from an old IKEA frame, and I'm drawing into it with an etching tool, a sort of sharp needle. Here, because my reference is a photograph, I've been able to lay the Perspex over the photograph and trace out some of the outlines. And of course you'll be able to do this with your sketches from the zoo, if they're the right size. You can begin, if you've done a particularly successful drawing, you can begin by tracing its outline. And then as you try and build up more detail and develop the drawing, it's quite useful to put it on top of a piece of black paper, and then you see much better the marks that you're making. So I'm building up some of the detail. I'm hatching across the surface to create tone, and depending on what your subject is, you might be drawing fur or skin or so on. So now I'm preparing the plate. I'm holding a stump, which is just a rolled up bit of cloth, and I've put some of the printmaking ink onto it, and I'm at a twisting action to press the ink into the lines etched into the plate. Now I'm beginning to remove the excess ink, and again it's a sort of twisting motion, a piece of newspaper with a flat area. I don't want to take the ink out of the lines, I just want to push it into the lines and remove the excess. A bit of rubbing down with a sheet of paper. I don't know if that made a lot of difference, and I'm now ready to print. So I will have soaked the paper, just spraying it so it's damp, dry it off a bit so that it's not wet and shiny. I lay the paper over, and then a piece of newsprint so that it doesn't slip. And just with a roller, I found this is the simplest thing to do to really get the ink out of the etching. A little check before you lift it off completely, and if I'm happy with it, take it off, and here is my meerkat print.